championship so close you can taste it.
Oliver Askew has won the Freedom 100.
Side by side. And your new champion, Christian Rasmussen.
Pace car brings the field around the top of the keyhole turn and down the back straightaway. This is a big field of cars right now. Looks like 28 cars eligible to take the start. So looking forward to getting this one underway as the pace car now on the back straightaway with the field. Half the field on the back straightaway and the other half just leading up into the keyhole turn. A little bit of traffic there, sort of an accordion action as they check up to go into the keyhole turn, but you can hear the cars in front of me. And the pace car now making its way in front of the grandstands and will be down into the S's.
We watch them as they come down. Top of the straightaway, now into the right-hander. Pace car with the field in tow. On the pole, Kiko Porto. In that blue and white, brilliant blue and white with a little bit of the iridescent yellow on the roll hoop there. Following along, Michael D'Orlando wound up second in that fine qualifying session that we saw earlier today. The cars are headed up out of 7, now into 8 and 9. Rich?
Coming through Thunder Valley now, the cars are getting lined up. The light is off on the pace car, so John, I am going to assume they're going to get the green coming around. They're starting to line up a little bit, coming up towards turn 11. Over to you, John.
Thanks so much, Rich. Rob Howden back with me in the booth, and I believe we're going to get the start here on the front straightaway. Frequently we start a big field like this on the back straight, but it looks like it's going to happen here.
Yeah, Road Indy starting on the front straightaway. There's an RTI sign. That's the punch-off zone coming out of the final corner, turn 13 here. The pace car heads off into pit lane, and it goes into the hands of Kiko Porto, who will be the driver to punch off first. Coming out of the carousel, Porto on the inside, D'Orlando on the outside. Both these drivers in championship contention. Porto comes into the championship leader, into the start zone. Green, green, green! And a solid punch off for Kiko Porto, but Simon Sykes right up on the gearbox of D'Orlando, pushing him all the way down into turn number 1. D'Orlando trying to get some pressure. 2 cars together coming out. Miles Rowe, one of the drivers involved, coming out of turn number 1 as they'll work their way back up the hill to turn number 2 now. 3, 4 wide coming into the keyhole, and an issue for 2 drivers off the track, but they're able to somehow come back on the racetrack, John. That was wild. Being told potentially a couple of cars off track, they would have been farther off track from what I was looking at. They'll work their way down the back straightaway right now. So again, as I said, the number 99 of Miles Rowe involved in that one. Rusty, did you see that out over there?
Just saw the contact. You can see the tire marks on the very outside edge of the track where the 2 cars came together, the 99 and the 11 sitting in the gravel trap here at 1. Safety vehicles and the pace car already out on track, so we're going to have to go full Courcello to pick up that Miles Rowe and Prescott Campbell, who are in the gravel trap right now.
Yeah, they started 17th and 14th respectively, and not the way you want to start getting contact coming through turn number 1. And John, you've called countless races here at Mid-Ohio. You have to give and take in turn number 1 because you're not going to win the race there. It's a hard place to pass as it is anyways, but you're just not going to win a race there.
It's an old adage, and I'm almost tired of saying it. You cannot win the race on the first lap, but you can sure lose it. And turn 1 is one of those turns where you could go through 2 wide, 3 wide on a push, but if you try to really do something brave, somebody's going to get forced off to the outside. It almost always happens, and I think that's exactly the case. Somebody just carried a little too much pace, and off they went.
Really tough for those drivers, of course, in the championship fight. Prescott Campbell had a win earlier in the year and was really still in the championship battle, and to see that happen to him, he's going to be super disappointed.
Yeah, sixth of the points coming into this round. So.
Yeah, that's it, right? So, and listen, we're going to harp on this throughout the weekend, and I hope we don't bore those around. This is a turning point weekend for USF 2000. Not so much for Indy Pro or Indy Lights. There's lots more racing still to do, but there's only 2 events after this. As you can see, the cars of number 99, Miles Rowe, getting pulled off. He's lost his front wing. You can see that sitting in the grass. Prescott Campbell looks to be, I don't know if that car's really that damaged at this point, John. Maybe left rear. Yeah, the left rear skew for sure.
Yep.
But again, it's a turning point weekend, and sometimes it can turn for the positive, and sometimes it turns for the negative.
Exactly right. This is a 20-lap race or 40 minutes, whichever occurs first. So hopefully this will be our last full course yellow. But, these cars pretty much mired in the gravel trap, as the AMR safety truck is now getting stuck in the gravel trap. So that's going to complicate things just a little bit, I think.
Well,
Rusty Bell, you've got eyes on that.
Yeah, a little bit stuck there. We have the wrecker out. That number 11 is not a car they can even tow out of the gravel trap. But Prescott Campbell's car there told him to get out of the car. In fact, both drivers are getting out of the car now. Our AMR truck is out of the gravel trap, so that's good news. But we're going to have to wrecker those cars to get them out of harm's way.
So I think we got a little look at the replay here, folks, potentially what happened here coming down into turn number 1. Again, it's Miles Rowe in the red and black, number 99, and the blue and white of Prescott Campbell coming essentially under the bridge at turn 1. Here's a good shot from the outside. Campbell's already gone around. So Prescott Campbell potentially either looping by herself, contact from behind, Miles Rowe with just nowhere to go. And Miles has had such rough luck throughout this season. He's been involved in a couple of incidents. This one here, not of his doing whatsoever, just stuck on the outside. To me, like Prescott Campbell just went around.
Yeah, he either went around on his own or he maybe got a little tap from behind. It's really hard to tell, but as they came into the camera shot, he was already sideways, and Rowe was just looking for some place to go, and his only escape route was off into the gravel.
And I'm going to say this, coming out of the corner at the speed they are punching off, you're not carrying that much speed up into turn number 1. He's not just going to lose the rear of that car. Someone most definitely got into the back. Of course, you get the accordion effect of people getting on the brakes, someone not getting on the brakes quick enough, getting into the gearbox, and around went Prescott Campbell, and poor Miles Rowe with just nowhere to go in the number 99. So an inauspicious start to the event here, the first of 3 for the USF 2000 drivers as an incident in turn 1 has brought out the full course yellow. Kiko Porto, D'Orlando and Sykes 1, 2, 3, Siegel in 4th spot, Fraser 5th, Garg 6th, Pearson 7th, Jace Denmark in 8th, Green 9th, and Matt Round Garrido in 10th. Christian Brooks making up one spot to 14th. We started 15th. Keep an eye on the 44, that white and red exclusive Autosport machine. There is some urgency for him to get to the front of this racetrack because he's trying to be in this championship battle, and the guys he's fighting with are now essentially first and second because Porto, the leader coming in, D'Orlando was just a couple of points, 9 points ahead of Brooks coming into the race, and you don't want to be starting that far deep in the field, that's for sure.
You bet.
So looking down below us here, the number 99 Force Indy crew is actually packing things up. So that's it for Miles Rowe. He'll look forward to another race tomorrow. Triple header, as we said. So another opportunity for both those drivers to get back out and score points and potentially get themselves back up onto the podium. Otherwise, field circulating around the pace car and hoping that we'll potentially be able to go green the next time by. We did see the cars up on the wreckers. And the update coming that we will very likely not go. And you can see actually in the back part of the racetrack there, that's the number 99 of Miles Rowe. We'll see where they take Miles in that car. If they take him right back to the pit lane or somewhere off the racetrack on the outside of turn number 2.
There's an exit there at the outside of the keyhole, the back door we call it, and that's where he's headed.
So we saw one replay of the incident here from the outside. We're going to get another look, another angle of where the contact might have been. Maybe we'll get a better look here of what happened to Prescott Campbell again. Yeah, here's the outside shot. Look for Prescott Campbell. I already see some contact there. Yeah, so Campbell goes around. It actually was Miles Rowe, I think, that got into the back of him. So indeed, Miles Rowe getting into the back of Prescott Campbell directly behind him. You can see the front wing, John, coming off already. The contact was made. A couple other drivers checking up. Yeah, Miles Rowe getting in the back, going into the braking, and he really took himself out at the same time being collected in the incident that he started.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Prescott Campbell qualified 14th. Miles Rowe was back in row 9, just behind him. So they were in close proximity at the start, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, thanks to our crew for that great replay. That really unwinds the mystery for us.
We definitely got a good look from a couple angles of what happened there, and it's really tough to see that happen on. You never want to see that happen at one, but this particular corner, the way you roll up there, and everybody's trying to charge in so hard to get through there because it's you can't win the race there, but the opening lap and the first couple of corners are the best opportunity to potentially make up spots. So
Exactly.
there's that kind of dichotomy of black and white. You want to get through cleanly, but you also don't want to, leave the opportunity to get a couple spots there.
Yeah, especially if you're starting, a little further back than you think you should have. It's really tempting to try to make up spots in the early going.
So again, drivers circulating around a little bit. Being told that the final wrecker is now rolling, so there's a good possibility we could be able to go back to green next time around. I know that our race director, Joel Miller, likes to get these drivers back to green as soon as they possibly can. You can see the AMR safety team still on scene to make sure everything's fine. Drivers circulating their way through turn number 1. Where's Yuvan Sundar as well? That's another key issue. He's down into the 13th position. Yuvan started 13th. He's second place in points. So really, John, this is an opportunity for Kiko Porto and Michael, number one, D'Orlando to get himself kind of back into the fight among those in front of him, but Kiko Porto a win here, 15 points ahead coming out. Imagine if he's able to go to 20, got the pole, another bonus point there. This is really, things are going Kiko Porto's way right now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Rusty, you've got eyes on that situation. Do they have that car up on the hook?
The record is off track now. It took that track cut that we have up on the top of the keyhole, and it's out behind the guardrail. We just have one safety vehicle to restage here at turn 1, and we'll be green this time by. So looks like the pace car lights already may be out. Yeah, they are out right now as they come by. So we'll be looking for the green this time.
Thanks, Rusty.
Rusty giving us some good news. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going green this time by, folks, and we'll be back at it. 4 laps. It'll be 5 laps in the books, 15 to go when we get rolling again. Single file restart, which should likely give us the opportunity to get through it. And anytime we have the races here in USF 2000, the key is to get these drivers as many laps as we possibly can. And we don't want them circulating around under the full course yellow. An incident tough for Prescott Campbell, just minding his own business, coming into the braking zone at turn number 1. And that's the last thing you want to feel. You've raced before.
Yep.
Please let me get through cleanly. You've taken the set. You've got your braking zone. You're just hoping that someone doesn't plow you from behind. And in this case, they brought out the full course yellow. 2 drivers off. We've lost both Prescott Campbell and Miles Rowe. That leaves 26 drivers still to go. Kiko Porto will set the pace when they come back out of the carousel. Michael D'Orlando in second. Simon Sykes in third. Nolan Siegel in fourth. Billy Fraser fifth. 6th, Bijoy Garg. 7th, Josh Pearson. 8th, Jace Denmark. 9th, Josh Green. And 10th is Matt Round Garrido. Kiko Porto with the point lead, as we said, coming in.
16 laps to go when they come to the green here. As we're already 10 minutes into this, so we'll have to hustle to get all 20 laps in, but we'll see what we can do.
Everybody getting into position, and once again, Kiko Porto on the throttle quickly, out of the corner. We are racing. Porto across the line to get things back underway. Here's the big rundown into turn number 1. Porto leads Michael D'Orlando, who is trying to get himself back in the fight. A little pressure further back there as well. I think that might have been, I want to say, Bijoy Garg put some pressure on Billy Fraser. Again, that would be for the P5 position. Big wide arc to the outside for Porto. Not worried about challenging there. Good run for Porto. Doesn't get challenged by D'Orlando. I think D'Orlando realizing, you know what? Let's see if we can't pull away a little here on the opening lap. I don't need to get aggressive. When you start getting aggressive up in the opening lap, all the Lions behind you are going to dive in as well. If it can be a 2-driver breakaway, they'd be more than happy with that.
Lots of 2-wide racing coming off the keyhole turn as they make their way down the long back straightaway. And having to go defensive is Kiko Porto as D'Orlando looking for a way around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Down to the inside of the racetrack there for Kiko Porto and Michael D'Orlando in the Cape Motorsports car. Up on the wheel to get at it here. I think a couple passes further back as well. There's another spot there, I think, for Christian Brooks. I'm going to say Brooks by Kohlbecker, Spike Kohlbecker there. So Christian Brooks looking to sending it back deep in the field. He knows he's got to get forward. He would like to probably see, 4 or 5 laps, another full course yellow. You know what I mean? Let me get 6 or 7 positions or 5 or 6 positions, and let's do it again.
Yeah, he's stuck back there with Yuvan Sundaramuthi in 13th and 14th, respectively. And they're both a couple front runners, so they're going to be trying to find a way forward. But Kiko Porto able to hang on to that lead.
And look at that lead trio, John. That was Simon Sykes in the Legacy Autosport car. Simon coming off his best weekend in his really short and kind of cut up Road to Indy career. He has never had a chance to do a full season, coming off a great weekend at Road America where he was right in the hunt there, second place in one of the events, and now he's running P3. I like the momentum that's building for Legacy Autosport, and Simon Sykes, so impressive. Christian Brooks got by Kohlbecker, as I said. He's now into the 13th spot. He's going to work on Thomas Nepvu now, who won the last race of the season. Nepfu, though, getting a pretty good run there. You can see them coming right through there. The two white Cape cars separating the white and red exclusive car. We'll keep an eye on that a little bit. One driver slowing further back, and I think that looks to me like one of the turn 3 drivers, either Josh Green or Dylan Christie slowing at the tail of the field. Probably Dylan Christie, the number 34. Need confirmation on track. It was the 34 of Dylan Christie. Not a great start to the weekend. So again, coming down through turn number 6, tough part of the racetrack, John. You're always balancing the car left to right, and just especially then you get back down here into turn number 9, which is such a tough corner. You'll see a lot of drivers dropping a wheel on the exit of that corner.
Exactly right, and that's another really dangerous spot, because if you drop a wheel off into the grass, you can easily hook the car around and make contact with the barrier down under the bridge on driver's right.
Looking for some of the drivers making big moves forward, but the key up front right now is that Kiko Porto has established a little bit of a gap now on Michael D'Orlando. Nothing I think that Michael will be too worried about, John. He's going to be able to catch up. It's a big, long run up to turn 2, a big, long run down the back straightaway. You'll get the draft there. Now, granted, if you get too close into the keyhole, then you lose that air off the front wing. How many times have drivers complained about that mid-corner oversteer where they lose the front wing, aero wash, as they say, the car pushes through the corner? That's when you really have to kind of set up and get a little more air on that front wing.
And as we watch the progression of the Road to Indy races throughout the course of the weekend, the more downforce the cars make, the harder it is to follow closely. So these cars have the best opportunity to follow close of the 3 cars that are here. As you get up into Indy Lights, it's even harder because of all the downforce that car makes. I'll tell you what, D'Orlando is looking for any way he can to get around our leader, and there he goes down into turn 6.
Trying it down into turn 6, side by side coming out there. Simon Sykes all up over the curbing into turn number 8 and 9 right now. Top 3 drivers together, and that's going to allow Billy Fraser, who's gone to P4. Shout out to Billy Fraser in the Cambridge Global Payments Machine for Exclusive Autosport. He has gone to 4th. Best run we've seen out of Fraser since a stellar run at St. Petersburg earlier in the year. So Fraser now starting to get aggressive. He's right behind him, has Nolan Siegel. Bajoy Garg now in 6th, Jace Denmark 7th, Green 8th, Pearson 9th, and Sooner Murthy in 10th. As they come across the line, 11th is now the number 92 of Matt Round-Garrido. 12th is Nepfu, 13th is Brooks, 14th Kohlbecker, 15th Peter Vodanovic. So a good run for Vodanovic as well. Started 23rd, John, up into 15th position for the Kiwi. Rookie driver for J. Howard Driver Development. Nice run for Vodanovic.
Absolutely, making up a lot of ground in a hurry. But Fraser and Siegel impressing me as both of them. Siegel dropped back a couple spots. He qualified 3rd. But Billy Fraser, like you say, you wouldn't expect him to be at the front. He qualified really well, putting the car in 5th spot in qualifying. And now he's up 1 spot in 4th and leading that second draft, closing up on the back of the leaders as they're fighting each other.
Yeah, top qualifier for Exclusive Autosport as well. Billy Fraser coming to us from the Toyota Racing Series. Fantastic partner of us that run down in New Zealand. They do a really, really awesome program. 6 hardcore weeks of racing there in January and February. Great training ground for drivers who potentially want to come to the Road to Indy to get some wheel-to-wheel racing in the off-season. Billy, of course, running that entire series. We have a scholarship program that allows him to get some free entry and tires for one of our test days. He took advantage of that, and we're seeing him have one of his best runs of the year. Getting really racy, as you said as well, trying to put some pressure here on Simon Sykes, but he does lead that kind of second group, as you said, only about 3 or 4 car lengths behind Simon Sykes as they come through turn 13. Great shot here to watch these drivers circulate through the racetrack.
The top 11 actually have kind of formed into a train, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Matt Round-Garrido and Nepfu right behind him. But just a little more of a gap between Sundaramurthy and Round-Garrido between 10th and 11th.
The advance of Christian Brooks from that 15th position starting spot has kind of got stalled a little bit. He hasn't been able to find a way yet by Thomas Nepfu, the Cape Motorsports driver out of Quebec, Canada. 12th spot, the battle there. Let's see if he gets him. He gets a better run coming out of the corner. Here comes Brooks there. That's the battle that just came out the left side of the screen, heading down the back straightaway now. Let's see if Brooks is able to tuck in. Still Kiko Porto up front. Little look there as well further back. No, Brooks not able to get it done right there coming through the apex of turn number 4. And if you can't get it done in turn number 4, you'd be hard-pressed to get it done anywhere else, John, because just that good run out of the keyhole is what allows you to make that run down into the big corner there at the end of the straightaway.
And if you look at the points as they run right now, Michael D'Orlando would move up to 2nd in the points from 4th as they run right now, as Yuba Sundaramurthy would be back in the 3rd spot with Pearson in the 4th position. So Kiko Porto looking to expand his points lead up to over a race distance. 35 points of it would end right now.
And
lots of racing left to go, but that's the way they run.
John, how good is that in your head? when you're a championship leader with a full race points, over a full race points ahead, that it gives you such a different approach to races. You don't need to be so racy sometimes. If a guy's pressuring you really hard, especially if he's not one of your primary championship contenders, maybe you give him a little more room, whatever it may be. Maybe you'll take a second. Maybe you do what a Scott Dixon does and take the best you have of your car and somehow get race points and end up with a championship at the end of the season. It's best to race what you have, the best you have, optimize the car that you have instead of throwing it away.
Exactly right.
And having that many points up for Kiko Porto could be big, but we're not done. Like you said, a flip-flop here would change that point gap significantly, and I don't think, personally, that Michael D'Orlando is done here. He's been able to pull away from Simon Sykes. It's still Fraser running 4th and Siegel 5th. 6th Guard, 7th Denmark, 8th Green, 9th Pearson, and 10th Sooner Murthy.
Coming up on half distance this time by, we'll be halfway home with about 17 minutes into the session. So as it stands right now, we might get all the laps in if we stay green the rest of the way.
Drivers cresting the hill of turn number 9 down into Thunder Valley. Final race of the day. And the first of 7 for you here in the Road to Indy. 2 races for Indy Pro 2000, 2 for Indy Lights, and of course the triple header here for USF 2000. All 3 will line up before the NTT IndyCar Series event on Sunday morning. So those of you camping out here will have a fantastic morning, a little breakfast and coffee, your beverage of choice on race morning, and get a chance to see some great racing. Here's a good fight here coming across the line as well. That's a little bit further back. I think that might have been Christian Weir and Jackson Lee dicing it out, really going at it, hammer and tong there. Eric Evans might have been in that fight, but that was side-by-side coming out of turn 13. You don't see that a lot, side-by-side out of 13.
Yeah, Evans and Weir, I think, were the ones doing it as Evans moved up that spot and put Weir back in 18s.
Yeah, Weir hung out to dry on the outside. You can see them coming out of the carousel now. He had to tuck back in. That's a tough deal. There's that battle right there. Exactly right. That is Evans, Weir, and Lee nose to tail, and that is the fight for 17th, 18th, and 19th. Ooh, let's make it 3 wide down to turn number 4 wide, don't we? Oh, what a tremendous scrap that is. And that's that battle we're talking about. Let's bring Michael Myers and Eli Navarro into that as well. Yeah, I'm in. Oh, there it is. Oh, and the contact ensues. Coming to 5. Contact between 2 drivers, local out in turn number 5. We may have that full course caution we were wondering about.
Tom Michaels, that's right at your feet. Who we got there?
Well, right now, the car that is stopped on course, that is the number 29 car, Eric Evans. That gray VRD car is sitting there. It looks like it got damage to the left side, the left rear. So it is just sitting here. The other car that was involved has taken off and making its way around the race course here.
Yeah, Tom, that was Michael Myers in the number 24 machine. We're keying on him right now on the camera.
Looks like a sprint car.
Just got a full wing on the front there. Yeah. Some piece of the bodywork has shot up, maybe the right side. I'm thinking the right side kind of cowl, radiator cowl, the side pod has popped up in the air. He'll bring that car to pit lane. Tough one for Michael Myers, the front wing damage as well, because man, he was in the middle of a really good scrap there with Weir and Lee. Navarro was in there as well. So that fight for what was around 17th, 18th, and 19th, yes, has come to its end, at least in this particular chapter. 11 laps in the books. They'll put 12 when they come back around. Tom, how does it look out there with Eric Evans? Is that going to be, a lengthy cleanup, or are they going to be able to pick him up and just get him off the racetrack?
Right now, they're waiting for the tow truck to come across the racetrack. He's sitting over there to the outside of turn number 5. The AMR safety crew already has the driver of the injured race car sitting there in the pickup truck. So as soon as it is clear, here comes the tow truck. It's going to hook on, and we'll have to see whether they bring the car all the way around or just put it behind the wall for right now.
Yeah, we had a quick look at it there while you were detailing it. Ideally, that car will get across quickly, get Eric up and get that car rolling. 11 laps down. Let's put 12 of the books across the line right now. Let's give you a full field rundown halfway through. Kiko Porto, your leader. And then we've got Michael D'Orlando in second, Simon Sykes in third, Billy Fraser fourth. Good run for Fraser. He's been able to hold off relentless pressure from Nolan Siegel. Bajoy Garg in sixth spot, Jace Denmark in seventh. It's Josh Green in the 8th position. Josh Pearson and Juven Sooner Murthy round out your top 10. Then you got Matt Rangarito there at 11th. Then you had a good battle with 3 drivers, Thomas Nepfu, Christian Brooks, and Spike Kolbecker, the 2 Cape Motorsports drivers. Kohlbecker with Ignite Autosport with Cape, kind of surrounding Christian Brooks. Then we'll go to Vodanovic, Stammer, Weir, Lee, Navarro, and Burke, your top 20. They've racked up a replay, folks. Let's have a look at what we saw here coming over turn number 5. And again, that's over the rise. Here's a good shot here. Everybody's rolling through. Top of the hill. Looks like a spin, indeed, for Eric Evans. So Evans potentially contacted behind, John, you think? Otherwise, you can't lose it there coming over the hill if you've entered with too much speed, too.
Sure can, but because the car is light, especially at the rear there, even a little bit of a tap will send you around. So it could well be that there was some contact.
And that's very similar to what we saw with Prescott Campbell and Miles Rowe. Contact from behind, driver spins, the driver who made the contact potentially gets caught up in it. So not sure from that angle whether or not that was actually the fault of Michael Myers, or even just that light contact. When you're that close, driver checking up a little bit, you get into the back of him. And again, like you said, the car is so light when you get over the top of the hill, it starts to rotate. It'll rotate itself. You want it to rotate. Really get through the corner cleanly when the car rotates like that. But all it takes is when you're on the ragged edge, just a little tap at the back and around you go. So full course yellow, 12 laps in. We lost Prescott Campbell and Miles Rowe on the opening circuit. We've now lost Eric Evans from contact. Michael Myers into pit lane as well. I've got eyes on him here. They're trying to see if they can get him back on. I don't think that they will. They were looking to put the front wing back on it. But it looks to me like maybe they'll call it quits here for Michael. In fact, I think he's already out of the car, to be honest. Yeah, Michael's already out of the car. So that'll be it for Michael Myers and Evans. Evans will finish 24th. Myers classified 25th. And mechanical for Chase Highland in the number 7. He's out as well, Campbell and Rowe. So 5 drivers already out, 23 remain on the racetrack. And just outside the top 15, as I had mentioned, Evan Stammer was having a good run there with Peter Vodanovic. We talked about Christian Weir in the 32, 17th, Jackson Lee 18th, Eli Navarro 19th, Trey Burke in 20th, Kent Vaccaro 21st. And I believe, Dylan Christie and Nathan Bird still on the racetrack.
Coming back to green.
Yeah, we're back on the racetrack, folks, and there it is. Aaron Likens up in the tower, giving the green flag again. Nicely done by the AMR safety crew. Only lost a couple of laps. 7 laps remaining. But then looking at that time as well.
That's 16 minutes left, so we could get it. Yeah,
we'll be good.
If we don't have another year.
We'll be good. So again, the good opportunity to attack here early. If they get back at it once again, drivers racing hard here for position at the restart. For USF 2000, look at this, Michael D'Orlando, another shot at it, big run down the straightaway. Let's see what happens for D'Orlando when they get down into turn number 4. Full field running through. D'Orlando's going to the outside, long way around. D'Orlando to the outside. Can he hold it up into turn number 5? Does he get the pass done up into 5 here right now? Indeed, he does. Book it. He is through. D'Orlando to P1, and I believe Simon Sykes got by Kiko Porto as well, John.
We'll check it as they come by, but I think that's Kiko still in second.
It may be.
Sykes is back in third.
It may be, yep. Just going to pick up the orange there of Sykes. They get that little yellow on Porto's and the orange of Sykes. So Simon Sykes not quite able to take full advantage there, but he's there to put the pressure on. But nonetheless, Michael D'Orlando, John, back to the top of the hill here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him check out. He was the top qualifier at a couple events earlier this year. Won Lucas Oil, qualified second here today. He's been quick. And I think he was the fastest driver in morning practice as well. So the speed has been there for Michael D'Orlando. He is now your leader.
And that keeps him in second in the potential points as they run, but closes the gap to Porto to 25 points.
Indeed.
Sundararamuthi still hanging on to that third spot.
And John, to be honest, it helps everybody else down here. Everybody below it, the gap that they had is less because obviously Kiko's going to lose essentially 5 points. 20 points, I believe, 30 points for the win, 25 for second.
Josh Pearson and Yuvan Sundararamuthi, the only ones that move back because D'Orlando is able to leapfrog them from fourth up to second, if it were to finish now. But still about 14 minutes left and about 6 laps, so we should get them all in.
I think we will. Capping off the day here with our first of 3 races in USF 2000. Aggressive racing. Further back behind again, watching that fight between Thomas Nepfu and Christian Brooks. They continue to go at it to try to find that position. Brooks doing everything he can. I think he may have slipped by there. Indeed he has. Christian Brooks in the 44, able to get by Thomas Nepfu up to 12th position. So move Brooks now to P12. His next driver in front of him will be his teammate Matt Round-Garrido. Look at the lead already here for Michael D'Orlando banging it out to 0.7 of a second. Open racetrack for the New Yorker. Looking to see if he can't find that second win of the year. It'll be the 5th podium and 2nd victory for D'Orlando if he can bring it home. 5 to go for the Cape Motorsports driver out front. And again, I love looking at the lineup in terms of teams. Cape Motorsports for D'Orlando, D-Force for Porto, Legacy for Sykes, Exclusive Autosport for Fraser. 4 different teams in the top 4. Back to Jay Howard is there as well. Denmark and Pearson for Pabst. Turn 3 for Green. Number of different teams. And look at this. Here's the fight there continuing between Billy Fraser and Nolan Siegel. That is for 4th position.
Josh Pearson moved up a spot up into 8th on that last lap. And he's only about half a second behind Chase Denmark. So Josh Pearson looks to be on the move here in the late going.
Yeah, we get some good racing here. And all the way through the field as well. We saw some tremendous racing before that full course yellow. And in fact, that battle we saw is what brought the yellow up. We've seen some really good racing further back. And now we'll see what happens with Christian Brooks trying to find a way by Matt Rangarito. Teammate and good friend under the tent. Matt's not going to want to give that position up at all, but Brooks pushing hard. Right behind him, you can see him coming to the carousel, the 2 red and white exclusive cars coming out at turn number 13. Matt Rangarito has not been able to do anything yet this race here with Yuvan Sundaramurthy. Brooks trying to see if he can't get by him. Always trying to close up on the points. Right now, Christian Brooks, as they run on the racetrack, 56 points back. That is a big deficit for Brooks. D'Orlando, though, leading the way in the number 4. Cape Motorsports, 8-time series champion. We've had some tremendous racers in that camp. Michael D'Orlando, one of them now, trying to get another victory. Won here last year as well at Mid-Ohio, and could he do it again? 4 to go. 4 laps remaining. We've got a couple of really spirited battles further back. Sundaramurthy trying to put the pressure now here on Josh Green. Christian Brooks putting the pressure on Matt Rangarito.
Josh Pearson on Chase Denmark. And Nolan Siegel on Billy Fraser.
That's it,
so
yeah.
Those 2x2 battles looking pretty stout.
I like it. Mano a mano out there right now, battling it out for position and for points, crucial points in the championship. A little bit of a lock up there coming into the braking zone of turn 12, the carousel. That was, I believe, Siegel or Garg locking it up into that corner. I'll tell you, relentless pressure though, John. Siegel on Fraser.
Yep.
Nolan has not given up at all, continues to put the pressure on. Fraser doing a good job running more of a defensive line down into turn number 4. But like we said earlier, you can get the job done in turn 4, inside or outside. We saw from Michael D'Orlando, you got to get a really good run to be able to get that outside pass.
Yeah, the top 3 have really spread it out. They're pretty much evenly spaced, and the best battle is the one for 4th between Billy Fraser and Nolan Siegel right now. As we're counting down the laps, 3 to go.
Yeah, watch what we're going to see here. We may see a couple drivers pop out to try to make passes down here to turn number 4. We have actually nobody close enough. And again, that plays a little bit to being able to get the car to rotate the way you want comfortably through the keyhole. You got to get out of the keyhole, John, so clean to be able to get that run. You need to have just enough of a gap to leverage that draft to be able to pull up and pull out. When you're too close, you get the aero wash, it just doesn't work for you. But these cars, again, not a lot of downforce compared to the cars of before. We tried to pull some of the downforce out and go more mechanical to try to cure some of that aero wash. Like we were talking back early 2000s, those Van Diemen's, the guys complaining about aero wash like crazy. The wings were pretty significant on the cars back in the early 2000s. Really impressed with Billy Fraser, doing a great job here. The best run we've seen out of Billy. I will say he had a really strong run, finishing at St. Petersburg in the 4th position. That's his best result so far, and that's where he runs now. Really had a chance potentially to lock out a podium for Exclusive Autosport as Christian Brooks got the win and Matt Rangarito was on the podium as well. But for him to be able to do this mid-season at a track like Mid-Ohio, I think this is big for Billy Fraser.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
2 laps remaining. Michael D'Orlando ready to lock down his 2nd win of the season. The victory at Lucas Oil Raceway. The oval, trying to get one here on a road course. I like that battle further back between Ken Vaccaro and Trey Burke as well. They're going at it. Burke's trying around the outside. The tail of the field here. Burke is going to try around the outside See if he's able to make it stick. Not quite. Trey Burke throwing everything at it. Good weekend for Trey. He's not going to be happy with 22nd after the pace he's shown, but I think Trey Burke is having a good run. Look at there on the outside. That's side-by-side 4, 5, 6, John. How many times have you called guys doing that?
Absolutely, yeah. It's great racing.
None of the guys that are running in that second, the second driver in these twosomes that are battling have been able to do anything right now. It's just it's tough when the guy in front of you is just that equally matched. Even with the draft, it's hard to be able to get the job done. White flag flying for Michael D'Orlando. Yeah, a lot of great battling here further back, and another one here too between Jackson Lee and Christian Weir. Weir in the 32, Lee in the 8 at 17th and 18th. Jackson Lee right on the rear wing of him as well. So final lap on the racetrack for Michael D'Orlando, the young driver from Hartsdale, New York. Did some on and off racing. John did some stuff in F1600, a little bit of racing here in USF 2000. Never was able to get a full season and did that last year and was able to get the experience, get the race win. And now you come into this season, such a different driver. The kid's like 6'4", so he's shoehorned into this race car right now, so that doesn't make it easy. But the experience that he got last year is what is allowing him to run up front this year.
Making up some ground in the points battle, going from 4th to 2nd, the way it stands right now.
Yeah, only 25 back too.
Oh yeah, if Kiko Porto has a problem in race number 2 and he finishes 2nd or above, he can take over the points lead.
So out of Thunder Valley for the final time, Michael D'Orlando leads, got a pretty nice little advantage of over a 1.5 seconds probably to Kiko Porto. And same thing with Billy Fraser trying to hold on to P4. But out of the final circuit, folks, the first winner of the 3 races here in USF 2000 in Mid-Ohio, Michael D'Orlando, the American for Cape Motorsports, brings the car down to pit wall to salute his team, Cape Motorsports. Porto in 2nd, Sykes in 3rd, Fraser 4th, Siegel ends up in the 5th spot, Majoy Gard in 6th, Jace Denmark in 7th, Josh Pearson 8th, Josh Green in 9th, and Yuvan Sundar-Amurthy in 10th. Christian Brooks ends up 11th, Matt Rangarito in 12th, Nepfu, Kohlbecker, and Vodanovic, the top 15. Good run for Peter Vodanovic as well. As I said before, started back in the 23rd position. He works his way up to 15th. Strong run for the Kiwi, Peter Vodanovic.
Absolutely. Rob's going to make his way down to the podium to interview our top 3 finishers.
Yeah, I'll do that now. What a great run, man. This is what I like to see is a couple Americans, the Brazilian Porto. We got so much talent in this category. D'Orlando with the win, Porto 2nd. Big, another podium, 2nd podium in a row for Simon Sykes as well. That builds a lot of momentum for that team. So I'll head down, you wrap it up and throw it down, John. It's been fun.
All right, thank you.